Hello and welcome to my new series called Thoughts On. Well, I'll be talking about things that I have thoughts on. My name's Amanda or Manumo, and our first episode is on Shane Dawson, and particularly his new series, which is The Cancelled World of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. I've watched the whole thing. I've watched it only once, and I watched it right when it came out, which was a few days ago, so I'm only going off of my memory. So if I don't remember it, it wasn't that important. As you can see on the table, I was once a Shane Dawson stan. As we all were, as he bamboozled the world. Am I not correct? I mean, here's the thing. Up until a few years ago, Shane Dawson was the king of the internet. You can say PewDiePie has the most subscribers in the world, but nobody has a cult following like Shane Dawson. Well, maybe BTS. Well, maybe not anymore. Here's my relationship currently with Shane Dawson. I have not watched any of his videos since the one that has like 21 million views, and he's talking about his apology. Maybe it's called My Apologies. But I do watch Ryland. And Morgan. Morgan is a blessing sent from above. I love Morgan. And I don't know if it's because she's a relatability queen, but her content is just so fun to watch. She's renovating. She's just renovating her house right now. And it is so fun to watch. She doesn't even have to be walking through a house, and I'm interested in what she's talking about. Anything that Morgan puts out, I am a stand for. Shane, I don't know how I feel about him. Maybe it's that old nostalgia where, for the love of God, do I want every single puzzle piece that all these freaking people who dissected him, maybe I just want them to be wrong. And I want him to be the person that the entire internet fell in love with. Now, he said he was asking people around on Instagram, and he was. I do remember this, because I think I follow him. I'm telling you, I have a bittersweet relationship with him. I don't want it to be true, and I'm curious to see what he's been up to. But I'm not a fan. But I follow him. I haven't come to a realization of what I am yet. But he was asking people, who do you want me to interview? What do you want me to do? And people were saying, I want you to do a documentary on yourself. And that's where this video takes place. So, it starts February 2020. I almost said 2022, but no. February 2020. And he's in a makeup lab. And I go, now wait a minute. Now wait a darn minute. Didn't we buy that palette in 2019? And then it goes to present day. And Chris, who's his new Andrew, is trying to find Shane. And he's in the bathroom getting ready. And it's cutting back and forth between this 2020 time and this current time frame. A very similar editing style to 2 years ago. And I'm going to say this right off the bat. Shane, it's been 2 years, buddy. Get another editing style. I know that's your editing style, but come on, my guy. Sorry, that'll be a whole nother section in a second. But let me kind of explain this. He briefly brings up, hey, I want to do a video about myself, like a day in the life. And he starts it off, this video, in a mysterious way, oh, I didn't know it was going to go in this direction. We're heading to Jeffree's house. Should we? In Casper, Wyoming? And all the while, This show was called The Canceled Life of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, which I do not think was the original title. I believe, it is my opinion, the original title was supposed to be The Mind of Shane Dawson, and then Jeffree Star ended up in it, and then he put The Canceled Life of Jeffree Star as well, because guess what? Jeffree Star is not in this video. Okay, he is. For like 1 millisecond. It's like a phone call. This entire video, if I was to name it right now, because I'm the queen of naming things, I would call this video The Day in the Life of Shane Dawson, remembering the time I tried to make a second palette. You heard me. A second palette. This entire video is a lead up to their second palette. Now, he said they're not going to sell it. He said it was the best decision that they had ever made not to sell this palette. And that due to the climate of 2020, which I beg to differ, first side off, sorry, tangent, 2020 was a time where people had a lot of time at home. Now, what would people be doing at home besides making YouTube videos? Makeup. Why? To get better at it. To do content. When would have been a great time for at the moment, the Shane Dawson to come out with a second palette during COVID? Am I going to get bleeped for saying COVID? I have 200 subscribers. Hey, thank you, 200. I'm not, it doesn't matter. I can say whatever I want. During COVID, it would have been a great time to come out with a second palette. But what else happened in 2020? Early 2020, Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein, I feel like I'm like a lawyer right now. Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein were at the height of their stardom. And gosh, I've got to February 2020, March 2020. I think, when did Shane get fully canceled? I have so many messages. I'm in the middle of making a video. Oh, it's my mom. June 2020 was when Shane Dawson posted his Taking Accountability video. Now, say you're in the midst of making a palette. So that's February, which is when he said this was like being created. At what point in that cancellation from February to June did he decide not to post this because he was being canceled? I doubt it was because of COVID. That is my own opinion, but I doubt it was because of COVID that he didn't do this. My arm is getting cold. So, this new video. Oh, overall, the entire rest of the video, it's just Shane walking around, and it's all about him asking his, I gotta use this hat. It's all about him asking his loved ones, like, if you had one question for me. Oh, it was because he wanted it to be like an interview style, but he can't prep the questions, because if he prepped the questions, he'd know the answers. So he went around to his loved ones and he was like, ask me a question. Ask me an out of bounds question about me, like something we don't ever talk about, like a taboo kind of subject, knowing it's going to be something about his cancellation. The goal was to talk about his cancellation. That's what he wanted out of it, but nobody did. Everybody said such loving stuff about him, and that's good. That's his family. He needs to have that strong family. Everybody needs to have that strong family unit, so that's fine. But Ryland's mom had the tough-hitting question, and I think it's because she's kind of in the internet world. She was on Twitter for a while, so she knows what people are wanting, and she knows what Shane is wanting overall in this question. He doesn't want people to tell him that they love him. He wanted people to ask him questions. I don't know where Morgan is in all of this video. She's not in this video once. Maybe she's doing schooling. I'm not quite sure. But Teresa, is that her name? Why do I feel like that's his mom's name? He should have asked his mom if she had a question. Now that's T. Mom's name. Vicky? Vicky! I didn't even see it yet. It's Vicky. Sorry. I just pulled that out of my brain. So Vicky, forgive me, has the hard-hitting question. She said, and this is what we were all wondering, are you a pedophile? I'm sorry. No, she asked, were you meaning to be racist? No. Was the palette a money grab? That's what she asked him. And, of course, what's he going to say? No. But I believe him. Because I think I have a similar brain in that aspect as him. I full-heartedly believe that he loves to film. He loves to edit. So when he went and he was interviewing all these people and getting excited about living in their world, and then he goes and does Jeffree Star again. And with the freaking World of Jeffree Star video. And when he saw everything they did, and Jeffree is saying, I'm pretty sure Jeffree was like, hey, like, we can help you make money. Like, we outsource all these, we send out all these YouTubers merch. Like, this is another company I have. And Shane is like, wait, I'm getting ripped off with all my freaking merch that I had done? And Jeffree's like, yeah, man, I can help you. And Shane is seeing all of this fun makeup stuff and how much money he's making. And not in a I need money way, but in a, look, that doesn't look that hard. I have the resources. I wouldn't mind it. And no one would see it coming. What a left field turn that would drive the internet insane. What would shut down the internet? What would shut down literal shopping sites? A Shane Dawson palette, because he tried the t-shirts. He had tried other forms of merch, but he hadn't tried this. And I think he got caught up with it. I think he got excited. And I think he did see some money signs, but wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all get so excited if this opportunity fell in our lap and we would I'd take it. I'm just going to tell you right now, if somebody came up to me and was like, hey, Amanda, we want to make a palette. We have all the resources. We have all this, all that, the colors, the this. All you have to do is promote it for us, pick some colors, give it a name, and bada bing, bada boom, Mr. Worldwide, when you step in the room, here's a palette. It'll sell millions. Hell yeah, I'd do it. So I think that's what he did. So I don't think it's a money grab. I think he was just excited. Not about money, but like branching out, like doing something different, unexpected, like, I don't know. That's what I truly think, which is kind of what they explained in this. I don't remember what else I was going to say about that aspect. Okay. So what ended up happening. So Vicky asks her question, and then he was like, no, not a money grab. I tried really hard. Which, whatever. Do whatever you want with your Shane Dawson. Okay. So he talks about how the palette is no longer coming out. They spent all this time, which I think would have, if the cancellation had not happened, that palette would have been sold off I'm trying to say, like, sold off the frickin' cabinets. Like, it would have been out of stock everywhere. That's what I'm trying to say. And it would have been amazing. I mean, they did a Mall of America opening of this palette. I went to their website the moment it dropped and it crashed. I waited for hours to get that palette and I wasn't even able to. My friend had to get it. We had teams of people sitting down. I was in the parking lot. I took time off work to try and get that palette. Like, if you didn't live through, like, if you weren't a part of this culture, like, you weren't feeling the buzz, the vibe, the excitement from all his like his little docuseries, and then to watch this come from nothing, and there was such spark and excitement in the air that if he was to do that again with the second palette, which is what he was doing, if he did not get canceled, that would have been gone. Gone. 100%. Off the shelves. That's what I wanted to say. Off the freaking shelves. But he got canceled. And I think overall he was like, you know what, Mr. Jeff Star, you can have the palette. So I guess what ended up happening was they took the colors, they took everything about it. And I wonder if okay, sidebar. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. My brain is spinning 100 miles an hour right now. He took all those colors and he gave them to Jeffree and he said, conspiracy theory, I have one. Do whatever you want with them. Here's my conspiracy theory. Jeffree Star has all those colors now. Do you know what released today? Jeffree Star's new palette, Circus. You mean to tell me a new palette for Jeffree Star released the same days that a docuseries that Shane Dawson is doing on their new old palette number 2 and was to come out at the same time? And their new palette was supposed to have a freaky, like a weird name. He's like, oh my God, we should call it this. I think, and he made, sorry. He made a comment that it would be weird if we called it this because this is happening. I think it was going to be called Canceled. I think there would be Conspiracy, Canceled, and maybe one more. But I think the next one was supposed to be called the Canceled palette. That's just, I think that would be why it would have been inappropriate, unless it was called the COVID palette. But I think it would have been, that's why it would have been an inappropriate name for at that time, which is something that they say in the new docuseries, I believe. But when I saw Jeffree was releasing a new palette, freaking like now, like today, like weird timing, man. And I think he's had previous palettes be released since that, because he hasn't been canceled. He wasn't all the way shut out. He's just kind of moved pets and kills his yaks and stuff, yada yada yada, yaka yaka. Oh my gosh, sidebar. You know how Jeffree got in all that drama because of the yaks and how he made, like, he was putting aside names for like yak jerky, and then he was also like petting yaks and posting them on his like Instagram. He's like, this is my yak, Jeremy, or whatever he was naming them. And then it turns out that he was like making meat out of the yaks, and then he was like, no, the ones I name are my pets, but these ones we kill. Which, do whatever you want. Like, that, what do you think happens with the cow industry? Like, at least he's being loving to them. Like, the ones he's killing, like, they're not being tortured like the cow industry. But I'm thinking about Shane's llamas. Do you think he's probably gonna sell the wool, but oh my God, could you imagine if Shane made like llama jerky? Oh my God. Sorry. Crazy thought. Oh gosh. Okay, so what else was I going to say about that? I have a lot of sidebars and I have a lot of thoughts. Oh, so I was talking to my sister about this, and she's like, okay, so you don't think it's a money grab? I was like, I really don't. She's like, I do. And I was like, oh, okay, like why? Because why did he stop doing makeup? Why did he not even want to finish the series? That was weird. We were all there. We all watched that palette come out. We bought it right off the shelves, and then the series stopped. There was like 2 more episodes that were supposed to be released, and he's like, no, I don't think I'm gonna post them. I don't want to. And then we were like, hello, are you freaking kidding me? You were about to talk about, he was about to talk about, sorry. Shane was like, oh, this is what the makeup industry is actually like. It's drama. It's drama central. Everybody's stabbing each other in the back. People are like, blah, blah, blah. People are spitting on each other. Blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. Okay. All about the James stuff. Well, who did it turn out? And then he put it in the trailer. Okay. And then we never saw the episode. But who ended up orchestrating all of that? Shane and Jeffree. Of course he didn't want to post about it. Because what if people put together the pieces that he and Jeffree were the ones that orchestrated all of this? He wasn't ever going to post that episode. He was not planning on it until we collectively threw a fit. And we were like, hey, money grabber, you have to finish your series. You cannot say it's a 9-part series and give us 7 parts or whatever the number ended up being. I'm just saying. I'm doing this all by memory, so I'm sorry if I get some of the facts wrong. This is just my thoughts on and things that I've been living in here. Oh, especially now ever since the first part came out. So eventually we got the last few episodes where they did talk about the drama, and it was like whatever. It was not what it was not what the trailer fed it up to be. Like, it made it seem like it was gonna be wild, but I don't remember it being too crazy. Unremarkable episodes. So, all that aside now, the title. The Canceled Life of Jeffree Star and Shane D. Jeffree Star was not in this. You don't understand. It's the lead up to them about to go meet him. Unless he's going to do like part 1, the Shane part. Part 2, the Jeffree part. So I'm fully expecting then that episode that freaking comes out on Tuesday, it better be called The Freaking Canceled World of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. What, like, you know what I mean? So, because it didn't talk about it, like part 1, Shane, part 2, Jeff, you know? I feel so much better talking about this now because nobody at my work freaking knows what I'm talking about. I spent like 30 minutes at my work trying to explain. I was like, the new Shane Dawson video just came out. I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch it. This was like earlier this weekend. And they were like, who's Shane Dawson? And I'm like, who? Who's Shane D? Who's Shorty C. Doe? All right, well, it all started in like 2018, in 2008. Shane Dawson on the internet. Whenever. You know what I mean? They thought he was still dating Lisa. That's how far back these people don't know anything about him. Anyway, I've cleared my head about some of my thoughts about Shane. Let's close this puppy. Shane was going to make an entirely new palette. That's still, when I figured out that's what he was freaking getting into, blows my mind. Shane's going to make a new palette. Couldn't make it because of COVID and cancelization. Jeffree just came out with a palette. I bet he's using those colors. But they showed us some of the colors. They're going to reveal the palette in this next upcoming episode. So who knows what that's going to be about. I mean, what it's truly going to be about. Conspiracy theory number 2, they're still going to release the palette. Conspiracy theory number 2. If my first one's not right, no, that's my, okay, first conspiracy theory, all of this was for Jeffree Star to get back into the system again about pallets. Boom, he released his new circus pallet. Conspiracy number 2. They're going to release the pallet. They're going to freaking release the pallet. If enough people, and I think this got like 2 million views, if enough people beg him for it, I think they'll do a small release. I really, really do. I don't think they'll call it cancellation though, because that's kind of weird. Maybe they'll call it coking and joking. I don't know, because that's all they seem to be doing is coking and joking. But I think they're going to release the pallet. And I think this is all a lead up for it, as I've said 100 times. But I really do. If you didn't watch the episode, you're really not missing out on much this docuseries. I'm pretty sure I covered everything of somewhat importance. And honestly, just watch Morgan's vlogs. I hope you like this episode of my thoughts on. I will most likely make another one called My Thoughts on Shane Dawson Part 2, because I will have more thoughts on it. But if I don't make it, then I obviously did not think anything of it. Maybe my next episode will be My Thoughts on Shane Dawson Part 2, and it'll just be this. Yeah, it was like, so whatever, you don't have to watch it. Okay, bye! Alright, thank you for watching. See you in my other videos. Bye!